Hey guys. So I was just watching a very informative, and I loved it, an interview with Only in America, baby, Don King, 90 years young in the building, nearly 100 years old and still working. I don't know how, I don't know why, but he seems to have all his faculties with him, and more power to him. But there was an interesting thing that he stated in this IFL interview. I'll show you in a minute what he said, and I'll tell you about what he said. Basically, when asked about Anthony Joshua fighting a replacement in Andy Ruiz, Don King absolutely advised Eddie Hearn not to use Andy Ruiz as a replacement. Instead, go for Trevor Bryan. And Eddie refused. Now, that was a silly move, because if you wanted, if it, it was a last minute stand-in due to Big Baby Miller popping dirty, as usual. And so they were scrummaging for different opponents, and Luis Ortiz turned it down. At the time, management failed. And they instead settled 5 weeks before the fight for Andy Ruiz. Was a replacement 5 weeks before Anthony Joshua's American US debut, which was at Madison Square Garden, which sold out all, I think, 30,000 seats within minutes. As the away fighter, let me just add that, sold it out in minutes. So they settled for Andy Ruiz, and this is what Don King had to say. Stand by.
Praised and working that it would have a common goal where it could be with the people, for the people, and by the people. He puts them in a position where they lose. They lose all the luster that they had and how they really worked up and did it. And so, I can help Eddie, because I like Eddie. He's young. His daddy's the son of Barry. You know what I mean? So, heck, why are we going to be fighting? Why is he going to let jealousy and envy, push him to the hilt? You know what I mean? That he loses his balance and his sense of being. You know what I mean? Come on, Eddie. You know what I mean? Come on home, man. Let's do it together. You know what I mean? Because right now he's got a record where everybody he puts in, from Joshua all the way down to that, everybody he takes over with, they get him because they're good conversationalists, and he goes through the gesticulations with the fighters, and he goes out there and he hollers and screams and whatever, you know what I mean? But he don't think, and so therefore he finds himself in a situation that is not good, you know what I mean? And then the result of that is that the person that he be, the prima donna that he be pulling in, everybody go out to see and see him great, he loses that luster, because he makes mismatches with the guy. I begged him not to put that guy when he lost here in the United States, with the heavyweight. I said, fight. I was going to sacrifice Trevor.
He used the word, I will sacrifice Trevor Bryan. Don King's ruthless, because he knew he would get blitz, sacrifice. Well, anyway.
You know what I mean? But he refused to fight Trevor, and then he lost, in his first appearance in America
against Andy Ruiz.
Yeah. So he need to learn. You know what I mean? He'll be all right though. I'm pulling for you, Eddie. I'm pulling for you.
As you can see, that was a move that Eddie should have actually taken up that offer, because that would have been definitely a definite win for Anthony Joshua, just to blitz out Trevor Bryan. That would have been in about 3 rounds, no doubt. I can honestly bet on that. And Trevor Bryan at the time holding the WBA Reggie belt, obviously Anthony Joshua having the super. So that would have just been his voluntary and would have just wiped that out. I don't know how that would have worked. Anthony Joshua being the WBA super, and you beat someone that's got the Reggie belt, do you then take the Reggie belt as well? I'm not sure. It's something that I'm not accustomed to, so I don't know. But as you can see, Eddie Hearn made a very wrong move. And as we all saw Anthony Joshua doing that ring walk, there was something not quite right with AJ. Don King state, yep, and then AJ received his first loss. So it's almost coming across like that was a very unnecessary thing to go through. You should have just picked Trevor Bryan, and you would have just beat him. Anthony Joshua would have beaten him in devastating fashion. It would have looked a very good debut. But it is what it is. It didn't happen like that. And what happened was Andy Ruiz stopped Anthony Joshua, and that was that. And that was all she wrote, basically. But I thought this was a very interesting thing because Don King, bars, stated, Eddie, don't do it. But Eddie ignored, thought he knew everything. And, yeah, made a wrong move. As Don King goes on to say in the interview about Eddie's matchmaking, he respects Eddie, but sometimes his matchmaking is something less to be desired for. And this was a good example of, you know, because we have been seeing Eddie. Eddie's fighters have been going for it. But I respect it because we're getting good 50-50 fights and his cards are brilliant. They are quite remarkable. So, you know, sometimes, you know, you have to go for the gusto. But in the Anthony Joshua situation, Joshua was, we heard rumours that he had suffered some kind of concussion just prior to fighting Ruiz. And instead of pulling the fight and just absolutely rescheduling it, they decided to carry on. And I've already reported footage where you saw Anthony Joshua getting his hands wrapped, and he exemplified a lot of signs of a concussed person. It was quite sad to see, actually. And when I watched the ring walk, I was like to my mates, there's something wrong with him. This isn't him. His eyes are glazed over. What's wrong with him? Hey ho, that's how it go, boss. That's how it was. So anyway, just thought I'd bring this to you because I thought it was quite an interesting point that I've never heard this scenario or this situation ever being revealed. So I'd wonder what Eddie Hearn would like to say on this, and if they catch up with Eddie Hearn, I'm sure they will, and ask him what Don King had said. How does it ring true? Because you know Don King, I don't think he's lying on this, to be honest. But anyway, I'm gone. Hey girl, it's LadyChann, rep nonetheless. Come box with Shan. Gone. Only in America, baby. Gone.